There are things that I've seen where, for example, we have high-end rich clients who have money, but there are experiences where we still see lack or poverty show up within the reality. So when I started seeing that, it collapsed this understanding of, oh, abundance and prosperity is more than just money. It's like, because people who got money, poverty frequencies are showing up.
Yes, it's because we're not looking for frequencies of money.
Ba-doom, message.
We're looking for frequencies of abundance and prosperity.
People think that prosperity is just money. But really, there's many, many other things that come under this auspices of prosperity. There's time and love and success and joy and comfort and beauty and wisdom and good health and money. You know, you can be very poor in time. If you feel really rushed all the time and always pressured, you have poverty in your time. But if you feel that you have all the time in the world and that whatever you want to finish, you'll get done and it will all happen, then you're really prosperous in time.
Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun. And today we encourage you to join us to talk about abundance and prosperity. We actually even have a gift for you today. But before we start, Tarvars, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Well, certainly. And we encourage you all joining us in this communication to join us in our call for the frequency of truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth to come forward? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? Now that we are here in truth, and you were saying abundance, prosperity. So we definitely got a gift for you all. And we're going to post a link in the description. There's a very powerful activation that we have, this meditation that you can do daily, also at specific times to tap into the group energy for the frequencies of abundance and prosperity. Start cultivating that within your frequency bandwidth. You know, start pulling in experiences that are in resonance with that. So we'll have that in the description, and it's our gift to you. But LaOta, oh, and by the way, like, subscribe, comment, you know, of the Sun, the gift that keeps on giving. So anywho, abundance and prosperity. So talk to us. Everything is frequency. So what's up with this idea of abundance and prosperity from a frequency perspective? What's important for us to understand?
So frequencies are a bandwidth. It's not a single frequency. Like even those who do things like Ho'oponopono, there are several frequencies, and thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. That's several frequencies that make a frequency set. So in the meditation that we'll give you, you'll receive a frequency set that will help offset those things that are unlike or lack in that. And if you practice this relentlessly twice a day, join into the group sessions where other souls are also calling for abundance and prosperity, maximize, multiply, and bring that into your experience. Frequency is contagious. There's no way not to have it.
Yeah.
If you put your attention there, what we think and what we do relentlessly and religiously is what we experience. So this is a way for that to happen. And we have great experiences, many stories of people who have done just that with this particular meditation. We're so happy to, if you need a breakthrough, for you to give this to you so that you may also participate in it. So it's called Abundance and Prosperity, and I hope you'll follow the link.
Well, certainly. And this is exciting because this takes us internally with cultivating a frequency, going within, and how that expresses itself outside of ourselves. But it is a discipline. It's building the muscle, because sometimes within our experience, we don't have it within our bandwidth, as you say. We lack the certain frequencies that are needed for certain experiences to show up within our reality.
Absolutely. There is science that proves, and there have been many studies that have been done, that whoever you spend your time with, if you spend all of your time with people at a certain income bracket,
Brokies.
and
I'm messing.
within that, the science shows that within 5 years, you'll be in 10% of their income.
Mm-hmm.
So what that proves is that frequencies are contagious.
Yes.
And that if you focus on frequency, that you will acquire the frequency that you seek, because in this universe, you get what you call for.
Yeah.
So you can get those frequencies, and then what comes along with them, the bandwidth of experiences, opens to you.
Yeah.
So it's not complicated, but when people don't understand the mechanics, they don't necessarily stay in the frequency long enough for it to adhere, or their other practices don't support the frequency set.
That's interesting about the mechanics. I think that's so important because there are things that I've seen where, for example, we have high-end rich clients who have money, but there are experiences where we still see lack or poverty show up within the reality. So when I started seeing that, it collapsed this understanding of, oh, abundance and prosperity is more than just money. It's like, because people who got money, poverty frequencies are showing up.
Yes, it's because we're not looking for frequencies of money.
Message.
We're looking for frequencies of abundance and prosperity. Abundance, the traditional examples are, how many stars are there in the sky? How many grains of sand are there at the beach? That's abundance. How many trees are there on this planet? We're a rich planet. We have all the things. How many thoughts can you have in your head through your lifetime? That's all the abundance that exists within us. The prosperity is, all is good. Like my children are doing good. My mother is doing good. My uncles are doing good. Nobody's in war. Nobody's starving. That's the prosperity, where somehow they have escaped the things that are less than that. Those are frequencies that keep you in something or from something. And that is a algorithm of frequency sets. So it's A plus B plus C equals, you now have that algorithm that takes you out of wherever you were, whatever your experience was. I have lived through many such changes. And it's interesting because even I was brought up in poor, but not desperately poor, in Chicago, in a slum, and I was able to pop out of that, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, and it may have happened to many who are listening to us, or you may be in process of that happening. But do you find yourself able to maintain it and grow from it, or do you not? So it's not about being born prosperous. It's about gaining the strength, the prosperity, that point of view that keeps you in that point of view. It's truly a way of thinking, because every thought carries us to the next thought, and every thought then creates the next experience. So when we are constantly worried about who's calling, we can't answer the phone, or who's going to knock at the door because we can't pay the bill, or where the money is going to come from, that automatically takes us out of abundance and prosperity. Because now every thought supports the thoughts of lack, supports the thoughts of poverty. Poverty is a state of mind. It doesn't really have anything to do with a bank account. People who are afraid to spend their money are in poverty, because what is money for? So they are in fear of using abundance, so they don't get to access the full glory and the breadth of the idea of having something they can trade for services or goods. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do want to mention that when you were looking at people in poverty, you did that through quantum light property clearing. When we clear a house, we can see the frequencies of poverty. We can see abuse. We can see abundance. We can see clarity of thought, and we can see confusion. So how is it that you saw it, and were you able to verify it?
Yeah. So within the experience, we are looking at the set of frequencies within the space and how these frequencies are playing out within what's considered the past, the present, and creating an anticipated future. And we're also seeing what chakra or energy center these frequencies are expressing themselves through the occupants. So it's a lot of detail and a lot that can come forth in terms of the narrative. And again, people who have money in their bank account, but when I said poverty, they began to share how there are things in their life that they feel that they do not have. And some of these things were things that money can't buy. So the lack emotional support and
Yes.
connectivity, maybe it's certain connections with their children and their love life. Again, things that would be considered foundational, and it was expressing itself through the root.
Right.
And then there's also fear about their money. It was literally the thing that you said about how there's this fear of spending, so that in and of itself was poverty because you're not allowing things to flow, the currency, the current.
Right.
Exactly. So again, for me, it was fascinating to see how it's not what we think.
No, it's
We
not.
think abundance is, oh, money, lotto, but it's really like resources or moments or as you mentioned, the leaves on the tree, the grains of sand, another breath, the laughter, and the frequency of abundance is multifaceted. But what I do see is that in hearing you share earlier these different examples, that is if we stretch into seeing abundance in as many different ways, we are more abundant. We
Yes.
can gain more of that frequency. But I think it does require us to kind of dismantle the construct that we have about abundance and prosperity because it creates somewhat of a limitation.
It does. And what just came to mind is in the conversations with people, one of the things that I find that is most brings a person into poverty is when someone else withholds love. Like people are in a relationship, they're happy, they're laughing, they're playful, and after many years of relationship, the playfulness leaves.
Yeah.
Their jokes aren't funny anymore.
They just stop laughing, and it's funny, and you're like hearing crickets. It's like, well, you sour individual, you.
That's poverty.
Yeah.
And for both people, for the person who told the joke and knows it's funny, and for the person who withholds the love to laugh, that's poverty. So
this is a spin on it, So again, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on it because I do feel like it was solid. Like it lands, it packs a punch. Outside of the idea of this one last thing you were speaking about, can you hold it? And what I have understood with frequency is it's a game of duration and of cultivating the frequency, not just like, all right, I'm gonna think these abundant thoughts now, and then I'm gonna drop. And then, like you say, every time the phone rings or the doorbell rings or I see a bill, and then I drop. Like, would you speak about the idea of the importance of, conditioning our bandwidth to anchor in the frequency? Because some of you all might see and think, all right, I'm gonna rate this working, this activation once, and abundance. Like, so we want to ground and make it practical.
we have to allow the new frequency to settle into our organs, our energy bodies, our molecules. We have to let it integrate at a cellular level so that we can then be that. So it's not the surface idea of, let me just say this, and I'm not going to spend any time before or after it. I'm just going to be on the go. Like you're about to receive something. Position yourself. Have a glass of water. Calm yourself. Receive this meditation. Stay in it a moment. you've got just received something. What does it feel like? Is it integrating into you? Can you feel it? You know, that gives you the meditation. That's the wealth. That's the gift that we're giving.
I have a thought that arose when you said you're about to receive something. A thought came into mind is after leaving the meditation, carry it throughout the day where we
Yes.
stretch to see the abundance, stretch to see what do we have, or even more so how things may be
And
rolling
can't
in.
wait to get home to hear it again, because you know what's going to happen. It is your excitement and anticipation that will make this work for you. In the same way, it's a love affair. Be in love with your abundance and your prosperity. Get excited. Look forward to it.
I got a question. For someone out there, if they're wondering, how do I know when abundance is like in my cells, like I am it? Like, what are some signs or indicators that people can have that are observable in their lives? It's kind of universal that they're moving into the frequency.
It's so funny because this is an answer for many things. Pay attention and observe what's happening in your day-to-day experience and see, have you moved out of disgruntledness and unhappiness into levels of things that are higher than that? But then continue to see if someone is saying, you look really good. Someone is saying, that's a nice shirt. This is when people are prompted to speak to you in a way that is exalting and elevating, that is abundance and prosperity.
That's so on point. As you say that, I could see how people block out the abundance and prosperity from that perspective. You say, oh, you look at, this old thing, or this is nothing, and they diminish what's coming forth. It's like a pushing away.
Do you know
or
what happens
rejection.
when somebody says something nice to me like that?
I do. You thank them for their generosity.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I thank them because they didn't have to be generous to me.
Yeah.
But that if my essence prompted them to do so, I'm going to reciprocate. You gave me prosperity and abundance. I'm going to give you gratitude, which is the currency that this universe is working on. Get into that. Stay in that space.
That's so interesting because it brings me to a space of looking at what that looks like on the other end for the person that's giving, and then it just falls flat. It's like I'm like looking to give you, and then you just dropping my my abundance that I'm giving you on the ground, and you don't want it. And I'm thinking about that as it pertains to the universe or the field. Like, what are we communicating to the field when we are broadcasting thoughts of rejection or denying ourselves to see the abundance,
or just really have no value? Like, oh yeah, I look good.
Yeah.
We don't have any value for what you said. Good for you for noticing.
Yeah, sounds heavy. Like, ew.
Yeah, it's like we position yourself to receive so that you have more room to receive. You get, the gratitude gives you more to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So I think that's a wonderful way for us to end today. Yeah. Would you pull a card?
Well, certainly.
And what is the question?
The cards to show us the truth regarding abundance and prosperity.
Alrighty. These are the Call for Truth cards. They go along with the Call for Truth book. And these are not only the color, they have the numerology, they have the color, and they have the Platonic solid. So we're getting a lot of information from these cards.
Okay. The card pull today is the theme self-sabotage, and this is the solar plexus. The maxim reads, let go. It is not necessary to have an extended stay at the scene of your self-inflicted crime. Allow yourself to let go, reflect, and reconcile. Release what does not serve you. And the maxim continues on in the book. Release what does not serve you, because everything must serve you. Let go of that poverty mindset.
Everything must serve you. If you have that, if you had it as a child, if you grew up with it, thank it so that you can move into the contrast of what you now know. How does it serve you to understand where other people are?
It's wild because I can see how there's abundance in that.
Yes.
Instead of seeing the lack, no, there's a gift in this. There's a golden nugget. Let me get that nugget, put it in my pocket. There's something to be gained here.
Yes, and in the sense of, I often tell the story of owning a place and someone coming in and being so pleased they wanted to empty the garbage, they wanted to sweep the floor. When someone else said, I'll do it, they're like, oh no, you're not going to steal my blessing. So this is that idea of understand the dynamic of abundance and prosperity. Everything comes along with it, but it doesn't begin the way you think it may. It begins with you feeling amazing, and then other people adding to that equation, and then other people, you go into multiplication, and then you go into higher levels of mathematics. It's that progression of how life evolves. So we thank you, and we hope that you will enjoy the meditation. We encourage you to come back and see us again. We give you the greetings of In Lak'ech and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.